President Trump will be hosting the South African President Cyril Ramaphosa at the White House. This comes with relations between the world's biggest economy and Africa's biggest economy really under strain. Now, if the two sides can't agree to a trade deal, 30% tariffs on everything South Africa sells to America are due to come into force in July. Trade between the two was worth just over $20 billion last year, but South Africa is far more dependent on the relationship. Three-quarters of that trade was South African exports to the US, including metals, vehicles and fruit and vegetables. And US aid to South Africa, worth $330 million last year, mostly spent on healthcare, has been blocked by President Trump. He's unhappy with a range of South African policies, including the treatment of white farmers. Well, Alan Mukoki is the CEO of the South African Chamber of Commerce and Industry, which describes itself as the voice of South African business and has about 20,000 members. Good to have you with us, Alan. Pretty high stakes today, then, for this meeting between Mr. Ramaphosa and Mr. Trump.
Good afternoon to you and your watchers and listeners as well. No, absolutely. It's a very important meeting from a South African point of view because we do value the relationship with the United States of America.
The US, as we know and have just been pointing out to our viewers, is South Africa's second biggest trading partner. Increased tariffs then are really going to bite. How much pressure is there to negotiate now this lower tariff rate?
Well, there's no doubt about the fact that we do want to go back to what we had before, because we did have AGOA, the Africa Growth Opportunities Act, that allowed quite a huge number of South African products and other African markets to go into the United States duty-free. So losing that is going to have a very, very significant impact that is going to be very negative, especially around the issue of economic growth, around the issue of job creation. And you know, the revenue that our own state, our revenue service is actually supposed to generate. So it's not a very small thing, it's a very, very big thing. So from us as South Africans, we wish that this negotiation can succeed and things can go back to what they were before.
So, Alan, what sort of concessions can Cyril Ramaphosa offer?
I think he's boxed in. I doubt that there is a lot that he can actually give in terms of the policies, if in fact Mr. Trump's concern is the transformation policies of Mr. Ramaphosa's government, because South Africa has a history, a very terrible history of oppression, of colonialism, of apartheid, and quite a number of these legislative pieces were designed and put together largely to try and address the past injustices and the past level of dispossession. To that extent, I think that we do hope that we as South Africans, number one, because in a number of cases we hear things coming from outside, but we ourselves are divided as South Africans in terms of what are the options and the policies and the choices that we should be taking in terms of addressing those issues that relate to the past. But we can't go back to the past. We have to look forward into the future and find a way that is amicable, that can address these concerns in a way that is proper and in a way that is not necessarily going to make the system not work, because we've created this democracy now and the dividend should be able to flow to everyone else.
But Alan, surely it's been a really big blow, the fact that the Trump administration froze all US aid to the country. I mean, that was worth almost $500 million a year.
Well, absolutely. I mean, as I say, it is a very big impact. You know, one of the positive silver linings to this is that it will have to wake up South Africans in terms of its own dependence on aid. In other words, we have a lot of opportunities in South Africa. We have a lot of investment opportunities. We've got a very silent market in terms of developing the market that we have, the size of our market in South Africa. We've got the region, we've got Africa. We need to drive the investment. It isn't because there is no private capital in South Africa that is here. We've got a very vibrant democracy full of vitality. We've got one of the best constitutions in the whole world. And I think that we just need to have a mindset that says we ourselves as South Africans are going to invest in our own country. We are going to develop the skills and the competencies throughout our society so that we create a market internally. We've got to take advantage of what's happening in the region so that tomorrow we're not facing a future that is based on what the UK can do for us, what the AU can do for us, what the US can do for us. We've got the mineral resources, not just in South Africa, in the region and the continent as well. We just need to change the way we do things so that we create a future that is going to be very bright for everyone who lives here as a citizen, as well as the region, as well as the continent.
Alan, thank you. Good to see you. We'll be watching those talks at the White House today. To the UK now.